Welcome to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're going to do a spotlight on a horror author. Today I have Jake Bannerman. He is a horror and suspense author. Jake, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Now, Jake, I understand that you're actually working on the third edition of Kill Bella, and this is going to be 11 short stories. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I decided about a year and a half ago to put my novellas together in a collection, and Kilvella number one was 10 short stories, and I did a second edition. Now I'm doing a third. This one's going to be almost 100% unreleased new material, and it's got everything from vampires to you know uh, evil preachers. I mean, it's a wide span of. It even has a dark erotica story in it called Unholy, which is something new for me. Um, and me and my partner Alyssa Hess are writing together, so it's a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Now, do we have a potential release date?
We are shooting for Christmas. That
Christmas?
is,
Okay.
it's it's going to be at least 10,000 words. I've got about 7,000 words of it done. Um, so just with getting it formatted and edited, it may be out on Halloween if we're lucky. So, but
Okay.
Christmas is what we're officially saying. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Now, Jake, you've been a author for a little bit. Tell us about how did you get into writing, especially horror writing?
That's a pretty common question, and I'll be honest with you, I had never written a book, had never even thought about being an author, but I had a extremely vivid dream back in 2011, and I sat up and I said, "Man, that would be a really cool book." I just started writing, and it was an absolute disaster. Um, however, over years and years of re-editing and reformatting and putting it all together, it turned out to be a great deal. And I'll be honest with you, I still kind of fumble through. Um, I, a lot of the work goes to other people, including Alyssa, who is reformatting and re-editing everything. I write words on a keyboard and then I throw them to somebody and hope they fix it. so, um, so I mean, I didn't really. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm an author. I'm just a guy with a bunch of crazy stories that I write down.
I was about to say, do you have any writing rituals? Like when you come up with an idea and you start writing, do you go away or cut yourself off from everyone, or do you just work a 9 to 5 um, a weekly job and then is able to write on part time?
Yeah, I mean, I work a 9 to 5, um, just like everybody. I've got a daughter and uh, people to take care of. But yeah, this recliner that I'm sitting in right here, this is where I sit down and I turn on music, sometimes rock, sometimes jazz, sometimes whatever, um, and I just shut the world down. And I always start with a title. I'm not a person that even I'll just come up with a cool title in my head and I'll write that down and I'll come back to it and be like, okay, well, what's this going to be about?
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
and I do the same thing as I write the story and I go from chapter to chapter. I'll name as I go, and I just let it kind of follow. Almost every book I've ever written, I have no idea how it's going to end.
Now, how long does it usually take you from beginning to end once you
I
have the title
I,
to the end?
I can write a novella. I can write a 10,000 word book in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't.
Perfect.
I've written
Okay.
two novels, two 40,000 word books, but it turns into such a labor that
Mhm.
I really just like writing novellas and short stories. So, um, but I will write more novels.
Okay. But the next thing I want to switch over to, I know this is a project that's close to your heart, and that's the Horror with Heart. I know that you are a suicide survivor, and you want to bring awareness to suicide prevention.
I'm glad that you brought this up because I don't think that the world needs awareness. We all know that it's a problem. It's an epidemic, especially when COVID hit and we all got stuck in our houses and we were alone, which was a big trigger for a lot of people. Um, but I more want to make it okay for people to talk about it because usually when you say the word suicide prevention, people run. They don't want
Hmm.
to talk about that because it's not a fun topic.
It's
Uh,
not.
but the reason why it's horror with heart is because the real horror is that 132 people killed themselves today. That that's horror. That's and another thing that I really want to clear up with people is my books aren't preachy and they're not full of suicide statistics. My
Yeah.
books have nothing to do with the cause. It's just my decision to give the digital money to 988 Suicide Hotline. The books are completely separate and completely insane.
And that's something that you just brought up. All of your books that are digitally bought through Amazon, through the Kindle, you're getting 100% of the proceeds to 988, which is absolutely amazing.
Yes, anything digital from
It,
Amazon, Smashwords, Barnes and Noble, Kindle, Nook,
oh, any of them.
yeah.
That's amazing.
I refuse to take any. It's just something that needs to be done, and a lot of people out there can understand that sometimes you just need to know that you're heard or know that you're being thought about. And so I wish I were a millionaire and I could throw $1 million at it. I can't, so the books is my way of giving back.
And the scary part about when it comes to suicide, like someone who is an alcoholic or a drug addict, you can see the signs, visually. When it comes to suicide, most individuals who, not most, but a lot of individual who, are suicidal or thinking about taking that step, they don't show any signs. They hide their inner depression, and they are happy-go-lucky individuals on the outside. And it's something that, you cannot, you and I cannot distinguish. I'm still, unless you start talking about it and also making it okay and normal to talk about.
Right. Well, and the original name when I very first started this for Horror with Heart was Screaming for the Silent, for that exact reason right there, because you don't know. And unfortunately, in today's society, if you mention that you're depressed or you have bipolar or something like that, you still get stigmatized. So a lot of people don't say anything. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to lose your friends. You don't want to lose your girlfriend. Because that's going to put you in the worst position ever because now you're alone. And that's not right, man. We should be able to talk about it to whoever we want, and not get treated like some sort of weirdo. Everybody gets sad, man. And it's a real brain condition. You know what I mean? It's not like mono. It doesn't go away in 2 weeks. Um,
Mhm.
so it's a big deal, and it just like I said, 132 people, man. That a day. That's pretty significant.
That's a lot. And all ages, all sexes, race, I mean, it
Yep.
doesn't discriminate. It does not
What
discriminate at
that
all.
that 132 is in the United States.
Hmm.
Worldwide, who knows? But yeah, right. Young kids, old people, vets. Vets especially is a big deal.
Well, the
Um,
highest, well, the highest group is African American men, and no one in the African American community talks about it.
oh well, no. I mean, you can't. Yeah, that's my whole goal right there. Is it's really exciting to me to sell a book, but it's way more exciting when I get an email from somebody saying, "Hey, man, I just need somebody to talk to." Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm not a professional, but I understand and I'll talk to you. That's the whole goal.
And I understand with 988, they are 100% 24/7. They have skilled medical professionals, so you can always have someone to talk to.
Well, and not only that, man, but they just upgraded their system to where you can text and live chat with them. So you don't even have to
Wow.
call. You don't even have to speak to anybody. You can, because sometimes it's really hard to say the things that are in your brain.
Hmm.
Um, I made a TikTok video. It's been a couple years back now. I got about 4,000 views on it. But it was very hard to make that video. Just to look people in the eyes and say, listen, I have an official diagnosis that has the word psychosis in it. That scares the hell out of me. I know it's going to scare the hell out of people. But those were hard things to say. Um, so I thought it was really cool that they had a text and a chat deal where you could just, "Hi, I'm having a hard day," and
Yeah.
that's huge.
And that's something, I mean, in this country, in this world, I mean, when it comes to, like you were saying too, when it comes to suicide, you tell someone I attempted suicide or I have suicide thoughts. There's a label. I've been guilty of doing this, you know, in the past. You get a label tossed at you as crazy and or mentally unstable or, you know, it's just a lot of titles that get tossed on.
Right. And having gone through this myself, when I was 17 years old, I was super depressed. I drove my car into a tree doing 73 miles an hour. I was dead when they got there. They brought me back to life. And then 2.5 years ago, I was in a hotel room with a gun in my mouth. Um, Look, uh, I think that a lot of us have to hit mentally unstable before we get help. Um, and I will be the first person to tell everybody I take Zoloft and I take Xanax to control my anxiety. I'm on medication, but I've been working since I was 15 and a half. I've got two kids. I live a normal life. I'm not crazy, but I mean, medically, I'm crazy. So it's not fair to immediately assume, look at Robin Williams for God's sakes. I mean, there's a lot of really incredible, talented people out there
Mhm.
who are mentally ill.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even, friends in the past, even, people who are close to me. I've had a lot of people, either went through with suicide or attempted suicide, right? And were a survivor. So suicide is definitely something that's important to
Well,
me.
I think that's where this it touches a nerve. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't want to go back to that memory or that loved one or that friend, and I understand that. And I don't want to cause a trigger for anybody, but I do want to be somebody that people in the industry can go, that guy, he gets it, and he's trying to help. So that's all I want. I'm never going to be famous. I'm never going to make $1 million. But
No.
as long as people are saying, Jake was out there and he was telling everybody it's cool, it's okay to say I've got some issues and I need to talk. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, what you're doing is an honorable job. All right. So I'll switch over to something else. Staying on the same topic, but I understand you do have a couple book signings coming up.
Yeah, there's. I don't know. About 6 or 7 months ago, I ran across this ice cream parlor in Norman, Oklahoma, um,
Hmm.
horror themed. The people that own it are just like horror maniacs.
Really?
And not only is it horror themed, but yeah, all their ice creams are named like uh, um, Ghostface and Leatherface, and I mean everything. Oh, what's
And what part of Oklahoma is this in?
Norman? It's in Norman, Oklahoma, which is the home of the Oklahoma Sooners. It's a huge college
Okay.
town. Um, and out of nowhere, they were like, "Hey, we love what you're doing," and that's what I was going to say. A lot of the stuff that's in there is local artists have done it, so they're very
Nice.
local, supportive, and they were like, "Hey, come on in and do a book signing." And I went and did one. Nobody knew, nobody came, but they were just the coolest, nicest people. And I'm getting ready. I did one there a couple weeks back, and they were like, "Come back again." So September 15th in Norman, I've put together a much bigger display. I'll have all of my books, and I'm going to have a multimedia display going on. And then Alyssa found this murder mystery cafe in Oklahoma. And
Really?
I was like, oh, that is so cool. It's A3 Murder Mystery Cafe. And I'm going to be there on October, Friday the 13th, doing book signings.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to check out Oklahoma soon because
Hey,
next
man.
year I will be at the horror convention. That's on my list. It was on my list for this year, but I'll be there next year.
Well,
Horror be
I'll
there
have,
next year.
I'll have a booth next year. This year, I just walked around and handed out books and shook hands and met people. But I'll have a booth next year, so I'll be there
Awesome.
too. It's
Awesome.
it's wild, man. It's big. I was really surprised.
Is it? So my goal is with this channel, by the way, everyone, if you don't know, I'm trying to cover every single horror convention in this country. So
Oh,
I'm working my way through the East Coast, and I'm gonna start traveling to the Midwest. So next year you're going to see quite a few Midwest.
that's cool. There's some big ones in Texas, man. The Houston, I'm sure Dallas is got a monster one.
Hmm.
Um, but eventually, that's my. I would love to tour the conventions.
Yeah,
That's a long way off, but you never know.
yeah. I mean, each one has this. Each convention has its own little flavor and its little.
Right,
And
right.
I actually prefer the smaller ones than I do the bigger, huge ones. It's
It's pretty crazy. The
more
one,
intimate.
the one here in OKC was actually held at a horse racing track. So
Really?
at a casino, yeah. So but it was awesome, man. It was people were dressed up. There were authors and haunted houses and everything you can imagine. It was really cool.
See, now I got like three things to see in OKC. Well, if the Thunder's playing, also, but got a I got an ice cream shop, a cafe, and a convention. So
Yeah, man. And we'll have to get together, and I'll show you around, man. I'll take you to a Thunder game. It'll be a blast.
most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, man.
So so Jake, where can everyone find you?
I Jake Bannerman.com, or of course Amazon, Smashwords, Barnes and Noble, any of those places. Um, the ice cream shop is called the Ice Creamatory. Um, they carry some of my books. I'm trying to get more books into stores as we go, but right now online is the main place. And I just ship books out of here when I sell them. You know,
Okay.
same thing with the digital. If you don't want to, because there are a lot of people who don't like Amazon or whatever, you
Hmm.
can just write me and I'll send you a digital book. So, but yeah, jakebannerman.com is the website, and you can find me all over the place.
And if you want the link, it'll be down in my description, everyone.
I appreciate it.
All right. So on an end note, 988. If if you get to that point, please dial 998 24/7. You can get a hold of someone 24/7, medical professional.
Well, and along with that is author jbannerman at gmail.com. Just write me and say, hey, Jake, I will I will converse with you. I will. I, I
And
I do have to have a little bit of sleep, but I'm up a lot, and I will talk to you and try to cheer you on, man, because there's a lot of us fighting this every day. I'm right there with you, man.
Jake, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love what you're doing, man. Keep up the good work, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the horror room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Take care.